The day we signed the divorce papers, my wife came back reborn. She said, "I finally realized you're the one who loves me most." She said, "I've already broken up with him. Let's start over." That night she cooked a full spread of Sichuan dishes. I smiled. If she really loved me, how could she not know I can't eat spicy food? Actually, I'd always known Casey hadn't married me willingly. It was a dynastic alliance, but I was the one who fell in love. So I treasured her, spoiled her like a princess, hoping to thaw her heart. She wanted a boutique, I bankrolled it. She wanted to be an A-lister, I bought her the spotlight. Whatever she wanted, I bankrolled. I only asked for one thing, that she love me, even a sliver. I thought my devotion could warm her. Yet the moment she heard her first love needed a kidney, she raced to get tested, discovered she was a donor match, and aborted our child without hesitation. The child we'd waited 10 years of marriage to conceive. He's dying. Why do you care about a fetus that isn't even born? He once saved me. What's wrong with me saving him now? Really? She probably thought I hadn't overheard that midnight call. Damn it, I've swallowed birth control pills for years. How did I still get pregnant? I don't want to bear his child, the very thought makes me sick. Why is fate so cruel? Why can't I give birth to the child of the man I truly love? So when her prince was in peril, she discarded our baby because its father was me. She wanted no trace of me left in her life. My chest caved in, as if fingers were crushing my lungs. I laughed. And while I laughed, I cried. All those years of affection thrown to the dogs. The next morning, I filed for divorce. When I slid the divorce papers toward her, she suddenly claimed she'd been reborn. 2. I know how insane this sounds, but it's true. To prove it, she rattled off memories, desperate for belief. In the past, I would have rejoiced. Now my heart was ash. Another stunt? I'm exhausted. This time I'll let you go. Don't worry, I'll speak to your parents myself. They won't blame you. She was the Sterling's illegitimate daughter. She'd clawed her way into the family tree for the title of Sterling heiress, Casey. The original engagement had been to the legitimate Sterling princess, but at the gala I'd lost my heart to the artless girl laughing in a corner. I flooded the Sterlings with deals until they agreed to give me her hand. After the divorce, those rivers of capital will dry. As the traded asset, she'll find life back inside the Sterling gates cold and spare. I've left you property and cash enough to coast the rest of your life. We were husband and wife once, this is the last scrap of dignity I can offer. She clutched the papers and sobbed. Emery, only after I was reborn did I see you're the one who loves me most. I regret so much. Why didn't I cherish you? Now I'm awake. Emery, give me one more chance please? Emery, I'll fight to win our marriage back. Her vow sounded ironclad, I believed none of it. The way she clung, sickening. I couldn't be bothered to wrestle. Suit yourself. And fight she did. The woman allergic to mornings was up at dawn. From sunup to lights out, she scrubbed, vacuumed, even swapped the drapes for soft beige. It stunned me. She timed it perfectly. The instant I stepped inside, apron tied, she greeted me. Emery, you're home. Dinner's ready. For a heartbeat, it felt like a home. She tucked me to the table, proud as a kid. Well? I spent the whole afternoon. Crystal bowls of chili red perfection Sichuan, every hue and aroma. Only one hitch, I can't handle spice. I said plainly, I can't eat chili. Impossible. Every time we ate it together you looked happy. I smiled. Back then I still had hope, so I swallowed the burn. She'd drag me to a greasy alley joint. If I hesitated, she'd sneer. Of course, you billionaires feast on caviar, you'd never touch cheap stuff. What could I do but choke it down? Tonight, I refused to punish myself. Her face strained. Then why didn't you ever tell me? I smiled again. She'd simply never looked. Because her eyes had always been on her prince. 3. That prince, Lucas, had grown up with her in the same orphanage. As kids they'd leaned on one another, years of shared history welded them together. Add Lucas's frail health, and Casey's memories turned to gold. One SOS from him and she'd sprint. That evening, after the chilly feast, cramps twisted me double. I was gulping air, about to tell her, when Lucas called. Her whole face lit up, only Lucas in her universe. She never noticed I couldn't breathe. I was slick with sweat. She didn't glance back, just tossed over her shoulder, "Don't forget to settle the bill." As natural as breathing. She must remember it now, guilt flickering. "Emery, I cut her off." "What's the point?" She refused defeat. So she doubled down, insisted on escorting me to a charity reception. She poured herself into a ball gown, diamonds blazing. She introduced herself to everyone, "I'm Jordan's wife." I knew the script, announced to the world, "We're remaking our vows." The guests smiled and nodded. Their eyes screamed awkward. Riverdale elite favor quiet cashmere and linen. She looked like a chandelier in a yoga studio. Only after I whispered did she sense the misfire. "What do I do now?" I sighed. "Forget it. I'll clean it up." "Hadn't I always?" "I'm sorry," she murmured, head bowed. Once, that apology would have cracked my heart open. Now it only tired me. If this is love, why not skim my file, learn my basics? Probably never crossed her mind. I said as much, she denied it. Swore she'd study hard. "I'm only lost at the starting line, believe me, I'll make you fall for me again." Her promise rang loud. A few days later she showed up with a guest, certain the sight would melt me. "Tada. Surprise, are you shocked?" I swear, it took me forever to track her down. "I know I threw a little tantrum back then and forced you to fire her, but I was wrong. So I found her and brought her back. She can be your right hand again." She tugged my sleeve cautiously. "Don't worry, honey, I won't get jealous anymore. I was stupid back then. I brought her back now, please forgive me, okay?" Looking at Claire, my secretary, absent for years, I tasted something words can't name. If that incident had never happened, she might already be a senior executive, maybe not ruling the boardroom but unquestionably one of the strongest women in the company. Instead, she now works for a small firm, pulling a flat $4,800 a month. Back then she had been my most capable assistant. Headhunters waving fat signing bonuses had stalked her constantly. And she worked like a machine, teetotal, yet willing to match clients shot for shot all night to land a contract. That night she was barely conscious. I drove her home. I'm a man, I know exactly what would have happened to her in that private room if I hadn't. But Casey was furious. She kept grilling me, "Do you have feelings for her?" I explained everything. She wouldn't drop it. She even confronted Claire privately, threats, paid smears online, accusations that Claire was seducing me. She dug up the photo of me carrying her to the car. "See? Proof." No wonder she rocketed up the ladder. Look at the tricks she plays. So angelic on the outside, such a slut behind closed doors. The gossip spread through headquarters like wildfire. Tough as Claire was, she couldn't withstand it and resigned. I visited her once and offered to keep her on, if not at headquarters, then at a branch. "Forget it, Vance. I don't want to put you in an awkward spot. Besides, with my resume I can land on my feet anywhere, right?" I nodded. I believed that. But afterward she couldn't find a job at all. Thanks to Casey's smear campaign, every recruiter saw her as the girl who slept her way up. No company would touch her. When I looked unhappy, Casey sneered, "Missing your little mistress now that she's gone?" Helpless, that's all I felt. I had only ever loved one woman. Claire had been my professional partner. Seeing her forced out and blacklisted, I felt responsible. I transferred her a cut of the projects she'd helped win, hoping it would tide her over. Casey found out and created another storm. In the end, Claire refused the money. Did you know she was sick and desperate for that cash? Without it, she had to choose conservative treatment. Her recovery was poor. Now she can only manage light, low-paid jobs, mostly because her health is wrecked. I I. Casey stared blankly. I didn't know. I had no idea. If I'd known. Known then what? Could that erase the damage? You can't blame me entirely. If she hadn't leaned on you, I wouldn't have been jealous. Don't think I was too drunk to see nothing escapes me, she raged. But why did that night happen at all? Do you even remember what you did in that bar? 5. It was the first time she'd ever called me. I dropped everything and rushed over. She was sprawled on the floor, vomit everywhere, blind drunk. My first feeling was heartache until I saw her phone. She had posted, "Married to a man I don't love, what should I do? He insists on holding me all night, whispering lovey-dovey crap, I can't stand it. How do I say no? I faked illness 2 nights running." Scrolling up, I found the same complaint again and again. Netizens happily offered advice: why stress? Pretend he's a pet dog. Just take his money and chill. Divorce him and grab half the fortune, easy money. Her reply: true. Little Yuan's medical bills are endless, he needs cash. For him I'll endure a bit longer. Once I've saved enough I'll dump the guy. A blade of ice slid through my chest. If heartbreak could kill, I'd have been butchered. The girl I'd married, my dream, had branded me a springboard. She accused Claire of cozying up to me? That night, broken-hearted, I'd been downing whiskey. Claire heard about it, came to remind me of an early meeting, and tried to take the bottle. When I reached for another drink she pressed my shoulder to stop me, and that tiny gesture became evidence in Casey's eyes. That was the old me. She protested. I'm reborn now, I've changed. Emery, believe me, I'm different. I won't divorce you ever again. Let's remarry, start over, okay? Without waiting for my answer she hunted for the wedding gown. Rummaging everywhere, she found nothing. How can it be gone? I said, because you already sold it. On a second-hand site. I'd spotted it by chance, bought it back anonymously. Maybe it meant nothing to you, but to me that dress was everything. I wanted my girl to walk down the aisle in a gown I had designed myself. I'd spent months learning fashion sketches, every pearl on the bodice was hand-stitched by me. And the result? My devotion became the universe's cruelest joke. 6. She wept, swore she would win my love back. She played the perfect wife, stayed up with me when I worked late, packed my suitcase when I flew out, even popped up in whatever city I was in. Surprise. Bet you didn't expect me. A helpless fatigue swallowed me. She called it taking care of me, yet while I burned the midnight oil she scrolled TikTok at full volume, shattering what little focus I had left. The clothes she picked for me were always styled to her taste, with zero regard for the actual event I had to attend. She claimed she wanted to be by my side every second. In reality she just indulged her own whims. No matter how busy or exhausted I was, the moment she saw me she demanded I take her out to soak up the local color. I was tired enough to say I wanted out. She cried. Why won't you love me when I'm trying so hard? I said, if love could be chosen on command, it wouldn't be love, would it? She froze. Familiar line, right? Across 2 lifetimes she's spoken it twice, and it's wounded me twice. But it doesn't anymore. Why? You don't love me anymore? But why? How could your love disappear so easily? Hearing that, I almost laughed. Who gave her the confidence that, after ripping me to shreds, I'd still keep loving her? I'm not a masochist. Besides, she keeps saying she's reborn, yet she's never once told me what happened in that second life. Because, she stammered. He treated you badly, didn't he? I've never believed people change without cause. And Lucas, the man she'd loved for years, how could she suddenly pick me instead? There's only one explanation. In her previous life she divorced me for him, and life turned ugly. How did you know? I told you what kind of man Lucas is ages ago, you just refused to believe it. Back when I first learned Lucas existed, I had him investigated. Beneath that fragile exterior he's selfish and vicious down to the simplest, pettiest level. Take food, If anyone touched what was his, retaliation followed fast. The next morning you'd find nails in your shoes, a rat under your blanket, a hairdryer wired to the faucet. Plenty of victims backed off. Only Casey, bless her, insisted they were ganging up on him, that he was merely defending himself. She showered him with more food, more clothes. And how did he repay her? When she turned away, he'd dump the plate with a look of disgust. Leftovers? Am I a dog? I told her. She wouldn't buy it. If he's as awful as you say, why is he so good to me? Because he already knew you're a sterling daughter. Lucas had the intel early. With his eye for an eye temperament, would think you ever cross his mind over plate scraps? Remember the online post urging you to divorce me and grab the family fortune? Guess who wrote it? I showed her. She might not recognize the username, but she'd know that IP, champagne. The estate you bought him, you should recognize it. Following that trail I dug up his greatest hits, including the showstopper, "How can I make someone donate a kidney willingly?" Netizens called him deranged. He replied, "I earned it fair and square, same as you punch a clock for a paycheck." Why the hate? Shock tied her tongue. Why didn't you tell me? I asked. I did provided you'd believe me. The day before she agreed to donate, I begged, even enlisted the Sterling family, waving her heiress status like a threat. Nothing swayed her. She aborted our child to give Lucas a kidney. Know what he said about you? I lifted my phone. Time she learned exactly what Prince Charming thought. She shook her head, palms over her ears. I'll spell it out. He called you a clueless idiot, said if he asked for your life next, you'd probably hand it over. Casey screamed, ears covered. Hurts, right? I went on. Later you healed on my dime. Without my specialist you'd be wearing a scar like a centipede down your side. Day of discharge you phoned him, he wouldn't speak. You told yourself he was post-op cranky. Then you'd come home and smash plates. Deep down you knew. But facing it meant a fight, so you turned on me instead. He's not some slick air like you, she'd snapped. Kids from the gutter can't afford manners in your eyes. Every slip is proof we're trash. At that point, what could I say? She needed the lash of experience. I don't know what her rebirth held, but once she finally accepted divorce she demanded extra apartments, more cash. Gift a greedy man a wealthy ex-wife and bingo, jackpot. She grew up in St. Teresa's, tasted indifference, not insight. After marriage I shielded her from ugliness, she mistook that for weakness, insisted on flying solo. I begged, she wouldn't listen. Fine, I stopped masochisting along. I'll have my lawyer courier the divorce papers, review the clauses and sign. She threw her arms around me, sobbing for one more chance. I peeled her fingers off, one by one. Sorry. No. Back home I put legal on it, fastest possible exit. She kept coming to beg. Lucas found out, barreled in, yanked her into his car like luggage. Thinking of betraying me? He snarled. You vowed forever, now you're leaving? That savage face terrified her. Me? Zero surprise. I'd warned her endlessly about Lucas's orphan day temper, she called it class snobbery. To you every gutter snipe is selfish, right? She'd hissed. Now she could sample reality. Barely in the seat, Lucas dropped the mask, obedience contract, chapter and verse. You stay where I can see you or you'll find out what nowhere to hide means. Run if you dare. I'll chase you to the ends of the earth. Here, drink this and prove you love me. Casey stared at the blackish concoction that night and flatly refused. But Lucas didn't give her a chance to fight back. He slapped her across the face right then and there. Don't make me say it twice. Her cheek swelled up from the blow. But what did that have to do with me? She chose this road, she could crawl to the end of it. Besides, she had already lived through this once in her previous life. First time is raw, second time is ripe. Casey got scared and ran away the first chance she got. The next day, Lucas slashed her tires. He tampered with her food too, and cramps doubled her over. When she was admitted for 4 fluids, Lucas made sure to call, "Feeling obedient now?" She fell apart. And it didn't stop there. That night Lucas posted a missing person plea online, "Please help me find my girlfriend." We fought and she left. She has mental health issues and I'm terrified she'll get lost. If any kind soul sees her, contact me right away. The spin made strangers think he was a saint, they shared the post far and wide. Problem was, plenty of people knew Casey in real life. After she returned to the Sterling fold, her face was familiar in Riverdale's upper circles. Thanks to Lucas's upside-down propaganda, everyone decided she was crazy. One by one they blocked her on WhatsApp. She had no one left to ask for help. Dragging my name into it was pointless. You two are getting divorced, who's going to believe you? Truth is, you're useless. Without Jordan keeping you afloat, you're trash. Maybe you were cushioned so long you forgot your own weight. How dare you poke a guy like Lucas? Yeah, once a man like that latches on, you'll never shake him off. Only then did panic set in. She rushed to me, begging. I really know I was wrong, please save me. If I go back, he'll beat me to death. Really? Then do you remember what she said back then? I told her not to leave, not to choose Lucas even if we divorced, you can't handle a man like that. But she sneered, what do you know about love? So now I return the line, I don't understand love. Go back to the man you love. 10, yet she wouldn't give up, she kept vying for my attention. This time she played the extreme card. To make me soften, she stood outside in the bitter cold until she was half frozen. I was speechless. I had someone bring her in. Before she passed out, she clutched my hand, elated, you forgive me, don't you? I said nothing. I simply took her to the hospital. The whole ride she rattled off memories of us, pleading for a fresh start. I broke up with him. Now we can finally be together again. In a few days I'll move my things back. Let's not be apart anymore, okay? She gazed at me, eyes shining, waiting for a nod. I smiled. Did she take me for a trash collector? Back then she refused to be with me, even on our wedding day. One call from him and she almost ruined the ceremony. After we married, her mind stayed on him. She used charity galas as an excuse to slip off to St. Ambrose home and see him. Saying it was a visit, but we're adults, I'll leave it at that. I only had myself to blame for poor judgment, thinking sincerity could move her. Reality taught me some people simply don't deserve effort. Thanks to her antics, my life overflowed with his shadow. The clothes she bought him filled my walk-in closet. She called it gratitude shopping for the savior of my orphanage days. Gratitude, understand? She showered him with gifts, while she never even bought me a pair of socks, yet could recite his clothing sizes from memory. Hilarious. I refused to live that joke again. Sorry, I said. I'm powerless. She seized my hand in terror. I know what you're worried about. I swear I'll make it right. We have a lifetime ahead, I'll make you believe. But sorry, she has a lifetime, I don't. What? I walked straight into the office in front of her. The sign overhead read, Oncology Wing. So she claims she'll love me again, yet she never even knew I had cancer. 11. I have cancer, kidney cancer. Familiar phrase? Actually, my kidneys are shot, I need a transplant. I've been waiting for years. My blood type is rare, and a match has been elusive. Then one day a donor file appeared, perfect blood type fit. The doctor was ecstatic, contact them at once, Vance. You've waited 5 years, miss this, and you may not get another chance. The donor's name on the form, Casey. I clung to a thread of hope it was a namesake, but the voice on the other end of the line shattered that illusion. It was her. I turned the doctor down. I know too well what life is like after losing a kidney. Just look at her now, perpetual fatigue, premature swelling, the humiliating weakening of urinary control. I'm sure she's feeling every bit of it. So I couldn't bear to take hers, I decided to wait longer. What I never expected was that the woman I spared would rush to donate that same kidney to Lucas and abort my child to do it. The doctor warned her repeatedly, it's inadvisable to give to a stranger, and listed cases where donors were never even thanked. She brushed him off, quit the lecture. It's not your kidney, just do the procedure. The coldest cut, I was the one who signed the consent as her legal spouse. Know how that felt? I could have refused. But if something went wrong mid-surgery, there'd be no one to claim her body. Casey listened and wept. She sobbed that she knew her mistake. The day I woke up I tried calling him, he wouldn't answer. I lied to you that his surgery hurt. Truth is, he snarled that phoning then might kill him from lost rest. I still sought him out later, he never gave me a kind word. Said I donated of my own will, don't guilt trip him. How can anyone be that vicious? After I moved in with him, the mask came off, non-stop insults, icy silence. If I slipped up even a little, he'd punish me. He's a total psycho. She cried for the longest time. I peeled her off me, inch by inch. She stared, stunned. You don't want me either? I don't have anywhere to go. I said, how can you be homeless? Didn't you and Lucas build a little nest of your own? You called it your love nest, your forever home. Oh, and I already called him, he's on his way to pick you up. Get ready. Panic flared in her eyes, she screamed. You're abandoning me? I really didn't know you were sick. Didn't know? The apartment was littered with pill bottles. Was she blind? My medical files were everywhere. Could she miss them? I'd been hunting for a donor match day and night. She felt nothing? You keep saying I didn't know. That's because you never loved me, you never bothered to know. This sudden U-turn is only because Lucas gave her something to compare, my bottomless, no-strings devotion. Now that she's tasted the difference, she wants back in. No, I do love you. Love? She only let our pinkies touch, terrified of full contact. She still can't look me in the eye when she talks. She weighs the pros and cons before she'll even hug me. Your mouth tells a pretty story, but your body keeps the receipts. After everything she's done, how can she believe forgiveness is automatic? I'm not a masochist. 12. I pushed her away. Minutes later Lucas arrived, eyes black with rage. I swore you loved me, swore you'd never leave, and the second my back's turned you jump into some other man's arms? He strode over and dragged Casey out by the wrist. A passerby tried to intervene. Lucas barked that Casey was psychotic and dangerous, backing it up with that charming smile. We were outside a hospital, proving sanity would have taken one consult. I didn't lift a finger. Isn't this the grand romantic escape she fantasized about? Back when she pulled the internet about marrying a man who didn't love her, she also asked if eloping for true love wasn't the ultimate fairy tale. The replies were unanimous, life's too short, live for yourself. While you're young, do what makes you happy or you'll regret it. Exactly, if you don't fight for love now, you'll hate yourself when you're old. Fired up by the cheering crowd, she packed that same night and left a goodbye letter, I choose love. If the kidney donation hadn't required weeks of supplements, tests, and bed rest, she'd have been long gone. Truth, she stayed because Lucas was broke and couldn't bankroll the pre-op checklist. So she bunkered down, guilt-free. As long as I'm still married, he has to foot the bill. Her own words. So whatever happens now is on her. She looked over her shoulder, shrieking for me to save her. I said, go ahead, sprint for your great love. Nothing more needed saying. I walked into the treatment room. The door shut, and the wailing outside ceased to be my problem. When I came out, she was on a stretcher, blood-soaked, her face swollen like a steamed bun, headed for the ER. Lucas was still yelling, how dare you try to leave me? I go to the bathroom for 2 minutes and you run? I'll beat you to death. She whimpered, probably begging for help. But Lucas had already labeled her insane. Who'd believe a word she said? I almost owe Lucas a thank you. A normal divorce drags on for weeks. Now that she's a psych patient, the paperwork sailed through in hours. Freedom, granted. From this moment on, I don't have to bend over backwards to amuse her. I don't have to read her face before I take a step closer. I don't have to share my life with some other man's shadow. Turns out not loving someone who doesn't love you back is light. 13. 1 month later, the hospital rang, my donor match had landed. After a long think, I signed for the transplant. I was leaving the ward when I ran into her, barely recognizable. Hair matted, skin sallow, eyes hollow. Scars everywhere. A month ago she'd been the dazzling sterling heiress, now she was a walking ghost. And of course, the poltergeist at her side. Here, drink. She opened her mouth like a robot. Lucas patted her cheek, satisfied. Good girl. Misbehave and you skip dinner. She flinched, clearly not the first threat. Even onlookers winced. Poor thing. The guy's twisted, he times her bathroom breaks. 10 seconds over and he storms in to drag her out. Terrifying. Why would she stay with someone like that? Why? She picked him. She could have been a pampered Vance, but she gambled it away, her choice, not mine. The doctors catalogued wound after wound, textbook domestic violence. Tragic, they said. Yes, tragic. Her gaze is dead now, no hope left. Then she saw me. A flicker of life. The next second she remembered Lucas and started shaking. She was begging me with her eyes. I'm done being anyone's safety net. I turned toward the woman walking up the corridor, she smiled. Congratulations, surgery went perfectly. Right, after the divorce my family set me up with a match from our world, sweet, poised, sunny. We get along like a house on fire. Once I'm fully recovered, we'll marry. She already dreams of a house full of kids, she loves noise and chaos. I can't wait for that life. As we leave, I catch Casey's stare, raw envy, raw regret. But that's her movie, not mine. Without her, there's still someone else. I'll be fine. She can foot the bill for her choices and savor the paradise she carved in earthly hell she calls love. Thanks for listening to today's story. If you liked it, hit like and share it with friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts, drop a comment. Don't forget to subscribe for more. See you next time.